What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL video. My name is Mo, and today I'll be going through my Game Week 10 team selection, which is only just a couple of days away. We've just finished off with Game Week 9. It's been absolutely an amazing week. Started badly, got better, and what we'll be doing is reviewing how I did, what my plans are for the week ahead, and we'll also be looking at fixtures with the teams who have the better fixtures and the teams who face a more tougher run over the next 5 game weeks. So before we get into all that, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button too if you haven't liked this video so far. So let's get stuck in. How did I do in Game Week 9? So to be brutally honest, it was probably one of the worst starts I ever had to a game week. So I started off with 7 players who played on Saturday evening for me. So I had Livramento, who was on my bench. He got 9 points, and the total on Saturday evening, I had 11 points from 7 players, which is really disappointing. You know, I was looking quite depleted. I was thinking this is probably one of the worst weeks ever. All my plans literally were not hitting the objective which I wanted to hit. But I ended up with 77 points thanks to Salah, Antonio and Alexander-Arnold on Sunday for getting me a competitive score of 77, which was 13 points above the weekly average, which was 64 points. So let's just review how I did. Edison got me 2 points. Now, I don't know what exactly he was doing in defence. He should have left the player. He was going nowhere. He shouldn't have gone into the play. It was rightfully given as a penalty. However, I did have some reservations around the overall decision because just before that play, the player was offside. So I'm not entirely sure how VAR works, but it's quite disappointing because I lost 12 points for my clean sheet bonuses over 3 players. So it's quite disappointing. Diaz and Cancelo suffered as a result with that. Respectfully getting 2 points for Diaz and 1 point for Cancelo because he also got a yellow card booking as well. So City defence didn't really work for me this week. They're playing Crystal Palace at home next game week, so I'm hoping they can get a clean sheet, which will be their 5th of the season, and I could get off to a good start for the game week coming ahead. We've also got Alexander-Arnold, so got me the well-deserved points that I needed, kept a clean sheet, even though Ronaldo scored, but was adjudged offside. He was owned by around 23% of managers, so it's gone up to 25.2%. His price has also increased back up to 7.6%. He's got 3 assists this year already, and he got his 3rd double-digit score, and that's all come in the weeks he's got an assist. He usually has kept a clean sheet that week as well, but if we look at their fixtures coming up as well, they are hit and miss, so they have some really good fixtures and they have some really tough fixtures in between as well, but we'll review all that into the next week team selection. And then we had Mo Salah, 48 points, doubled obviously from 24 as my captain. Overnight, I was thinking when you had players like Phil Foden, Mason Mount do so well, I was thinking maybe this was the game for the differentials, and have I missed out on a trick? But I went early last week, and I was one who, despite Lukaku still being fit, I was still adamant to keep Mo Salah as my captain. I think he'll probably hit the 300 points mark this season for the 2nd time in his career. He did that all the way back in 2017-18, where he respectively got 34 returns with 22 goals and 12 assists. Already has 16 returns, guys, in 9 games. It's absolutely insane. 10 goals and 6 assists. 107 points already. Now, it doesn't mean that he has to be captain every single week. We still need to be quite decisive and sensible about how we choose our captaincy. But in the current form he has, he looks absolutely immense. We have to continue believing in him. And, I do believe, those 32% of managers who don't own him at the moment, are missing out. And what their rationale behind it is, I really would like to know. But I think he'll definitely cross the 70% mark probably this week or next week of ownership, and probably will be the most captain player in Game Week 10 as well. But phenomenal, 5-0 at Manchester United, Old Trafford. What more can I say? He got an assist and a hat-trick as well. So a good choice in the end. If you captained him, great. And if you trusted your instinct like I did, I think it was a really good decision for you to follow that. Rafinha once again has disappointed me, so only 32 points this season so far with 3 goals. Went off again with an injury at 53 minutes, so I think he likes to be yellow flagged on FPL. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes really. For now, he's in my squad, and let's just say hypothetically he doesn't play. I should have the cover on the bench in the form of Livramento to come on and cover that. But it's quite disappointing considering the games he has played. You can see Newcastle got 8 points, West Ham got 8 points, but then out of Watford, Southampton and Wolves, I was expecting a bit more. Obviously, Southampton, he wasn't available due to the COVID restrictions and him not being back just in time, and recovery time wasn't enough. But, generally, 4 points over those 3 games, I'm quite disappointed for a player who I've invested 6.6 mil when I brought him in terms of price, and he hasn't given me the rewards back for it. So I'm probably going to be a bit more patient. Looking at their fixtures, we will have a little more analysis into it. He might be worth persisting with, but we just have to get some more update around his injury front for the coming weeks. Now, Zaha, unfortunately, didn't start the game for me, which was quite disappointed against Newcastle. Came on as a sub appearance. Got a point. However, for me, I think going forward in the long run, he's going to serve me really well. So I'm not too disappointed from last week's perspective because I got a good overall score. But I think over the next coming weeks, he's going to be like my differential pick. Only around 6% of ownership at the moment. So I do believe, when he does go big, he will get big rewards in regards to that. And Townsend got me 2 points on the weekend. Absolutely thrashed by Watford at home. Disappointing for Everton, but I'm still going to persist with him. Calvert-Lewin is still not back, so he might even still be on penalties as well. St. Maximin was really disappointing against Crystal Palace, only 2 points, so he's blanked 3 game weeks in a row. I'm starting to finally run out a bit of patience, so I might be looking elsewhere to bring him in. So let's see who I bring him in for this game week, but he's done well at the start when I brought him in, but maybe he's just hit a bit of a lean patch. We may have to look at replacements for him at present. I think one of the biggest disappointments for me was Vardy. So I went early for Vardy last week before, it was around 16% ownership before Lukaku got injured, and everyone then looked for the best alternative, current form striker, which was Jamie Vardy. Against Brentford, only got a point, went off at half time, a knee injury. He's got a 75% chance of playing, so I think he should be available for next game week. We'll probably get more clarity around his availability closer to the end of the game week. So we'll have to look out for what Brendan Rodgers says. For now, he's in my squad, and he should be fit and available for the next game week. Antonio, so a player who's owned still quite highly by 47% of managers nearly. 8.1 mil in price. He's got 57 points this year so far with 10 returns with 6 goals and 4 assists respectively. Now for me, am I looking to get rid of him? Their fixtures do get difficult, so it might be a chance for me to still keep hold of him. He might become a bit of a differential because people will look elsewhere for teams with slightly better fixtures, which I'll discuss in a moment, and strikers from there. So Antonio is someone who I'm thinking I might stick on to. However, it all depends upon Calvert-Lewin as well, because if Calvert-Lewin becomes available, it might just be a straight swap for Calvert-Lewin. So maybe the next 4 to 5 game weeks, I may persist with him if Calvert-Lewin isn't available, but then from game week 18 they do have an insane fixture run, so I might persist with him till then, but we'll have to wait and see in terms of what fixtures and form they bring to the table. So which players are being discussed the most? Who are managers at the moment discussing to bring in before I reveal my team? We'll go through that with you. So one of the key players this weekend was Mason Mount. So if you were owning Mason Mount over this weekend before the Mo Salah tribute, or I'd say amazing performance when it took place, it was a really good game week for you. 24 points. If you were even captaining him, you got 48 points with the same returns that Mo Salah gave, 3 goals and an assist. He did miss a penalty, but it was retaken because the goalkeeper had come off their line. Norwich for me are relegated already. Absolute abysmal performance. I wouldn't own anyone from their team personally, but we'll go on to their fixtures in a moment just in case you are looking to bring anyone in. But it was a really, I would say, heartless performance. I think generally Mason Mount, got a well-deserved rest. Obviously has consistently played for England over the Euros and the last couple of seasons, even under Lampard and Tuchel. It's been back-to-back for him, and it's not easy with a player of his ability, games week in, week out with different competitions. He just needed a break, and he's come back, and he looked absolutely amazing. In terms of fixtures-wise, Chelsea, we can have a look. So let's go through a few fixtures with you guys as well. So let me show you. So these are the fixtures in terms of teams that we have at the moment. I've got the top 5. So Norwich start right at the top. So I've already mentioned that in terms of Norwich, I wouldn't be looking to bring any players in. But looking at that fixtures run, would you look at anyone potentially? I'd take no one from their defence because I think they'll still concede. Pukki maybe? That's someone we can consider. Tim Krul and the goalkeeper, I'm not too sure. I don't think they'll keep clean sheets. But again, Norwich, they had the best fixture run according to the fixture difficulty predictor from the FPL website. And then we've got Brentford. So maybe we could target someone like, Ivan Toney's got a flag at the moment. Ivan Toney's doing well at the moment. And Mbembo's got a yellow flag. So whether he's available or not, But then you've got Chelsea. This is what we're talking about: Mason Mount, Newcastle, Burnley, and then Leicester. So some really good games coming up there. And then they've got Manchester United. Again, it's red on the fixtures list, but after the way they've been performing, I think it should be quite a comfortable game for Chelsea. But you can't predict the outcome of a game before it takes place. And then you've got Watford. So again, Mason Mount might be a good shout, along with Havertz, with obviously Werner and Lukaku being out for a little bit of a period. People have also looked at Reece James and Ben Chilwell, who respectively have done well as well. Leeds United, so this is who I was talking about earlier. So we have Rafinha in my squad. Maybe Rodrigo. Bamford, we haven't got a clear indication of when he returns. Could be this week, could be the week after. So we'll have to wait for Bielsa to give us overall kind of update of how Bamford is looking in terms of his overall return back to the Leeds lineup. But they've got some good games in terms of Norwich, Leicester, Tottenham will be a tough game, I reckon. Brentford and Crystal Palace. So Tottenham haven't been the best of teams this season so far, have been quite defensively vulnerable. So it'd be a great game between two teams who can't defend. And Tottenham at the moment are struggling to score as well. So I've got some really good games up for Leeds United as well. And then Wolves. So Jimenez, Hwang might be good shouts as well. You got Semedo, Marcel, Sarr in goal. Everton, they've come back from a 5-2 loss. They will come hard at Wolves this week. Then they've got Crystal Palace, West Ham, Norwich and Burnley. So some real good fixtures there for you to target. I wouldn't recommend a double up in terms of Hwang and Jimenez. I think there's better mixture or kind of like, combinations that can be made in terms of the strike force. But these are the players that we can look at from these squads to bring in to our squads, considering the next 5 game weeks if you are looking to make it. If you haven't played your wild card yet, absolute respect to you. Maybe this might be something useful for you to consider as a template, looking into the next 5 game weeks and how you can shape your teams in the coming weeks. Obviously, based on current form, fixtures, injuries, it all adds up in the long run. So let's go back to our homepage, and we were looking at Mason Mount. We've discussed the other Chelsea players. Alternatively, Phil Foden is someone that we're talking about at the moment as well. Absolutely incredible. His price has gone up to 8.1 mil. 9.4% of managers are owning him at present. 35 points already. 18 points this game week. 2 goals and an assist. I think he's one of the most brightest prospects in football. And if we look at their fixtures, for example, obviously risk of rotation would always be huge with Phil Foden. But for now, he looks pretty nailed on. So we should be hopeful of him getting loads of minutes at present. But in terms of fixtures, these fixtures are for the teams with the 5 most difficult teams that have the fixtures for FPL the next 5 game weeks. So you can see from Liverpool all the way down to West Ham, who have the hardest based on the prediction of the difficulty of the fixture. So from Man City's perspective, they are pretty much, considered to have the most difficult fixtures. But offensively for Phil Foden, Crystal Palace at home will be a good opportunity again. Manchester United is listed as red at Old Trafford, but if they carry on in terms of the Old Trafford form and their current form of defending, he might have a field day getting a good return there, along with any other Manchester City forward attacking options. So you've got, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Jesus might be a good option down there as well. And then Everton, West Ham and Aston Villa. So they've got some really tough fixtures in terms of on paper, but if you look at it from like a form versus team perspective, I reckon it's going to be a good shout to, not even just look at the defensive options, but potentially attacking options for Manchester City. I personally will be tripling up on most game weeks here for Man City because I generally believe that they can outscore teams and they can keep clean sheets if Edison can keep his brain and not concede, unnecessary penalties that are not required. So that's something that we can look into as well. But there are other, performers like Dennis, who's injured for this game week, who got 12 points already, and Joshua King, hat-trick this game week as well. And in terms of Watford, as you guys can see as well, fixtures that they do have are quite difficult. So they've got Southampton, obviously, which will be a good game. Then Arsenal, Manchester United, Leicester and Chelsea. So it may not be that worthwhile bringing him in at the moment. But if I show you guys Joshua King at the moment, this is what his stats look like. So 6 returns already, 36 points. He got 16 points respectively this game week. So for me personally, I would look to avoid Watford players. So if you've got someone like an Ismail Sarr, I wouldn't look to keep them in your squad. Maybe look at alternative options that you could have. West Ham have the most difficult fixtures. So this is where I was talking about Antonio. But after game week 14, there's a patch to like game week 18 where I think their fixtures will turn for the better. So maybe it all depends upon Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I might wait till he returns, so which looks around like game week 12, 13. So if they've got the Manchester City game, I might take him out then. and do a straight swap. So that might be a Mikel Antonio plan for me, because I think he could score against Aston Villa. Liverpool defensively are quite sound. Wolves definitely can score again, so I might keep him for the next couple of game weeks in my squad. Now we're going to move on to my team selection for this game week, which you have all been waiting for. So let's go through my squad one by one. So we've got Edison in goal, Crystal Palace at home. I'm pretty hopeful for him to continue with his good form. He did concede an unnecessary penalty, but I think this would be a good shout for them to get another clean sheet under their belt, along with Diaz and Cancelo in my back four. Then I've got Alexander-Arnold against Brighton at home. I think they should keep a clean sheet. Could be there for the taking. No disrespect to Brighton. They've played really well this season so far. At one point, could have gone top of the table at game week 4 if they didn't slip up against Crystal Palace in the final minute. But I think Liverpool will be far too strong for them after the 5-0 victory at Old Trafford. So hopefully another good game for Alexander-Arnold should be this weekend. And then I've got Livramento, who are playing Watford, who've had a great victory, but he got 9 points last week. Played really well, could have had more. Hit the post as well. Zaha I've put on the bench because I'm in a bit of a catch-22. If I play Zaha, I don't want him to score against Crystal Palace, right? So I'd rather take a hope for a clean sheet for Watford from Livramento. So that's the aim at the moment. Obviously, I've got 2 players who are flagged, and if they need to be replaced, then I've got Zaha coming on. Now this is the game week onwards now, so I've made 1 transfer this game week. From onwards now, I'll be looking to improve my bench from Hoover and Gilmore, potentially to Ben White from Arsenal, and maybe Douglas Luiz or Allen from Everton. That will be taken through. I'm not taking any more hits, but that is the overall plan. Mo Salah will continue as captain against Brighton. Pretty much, an easy decision. I don't think I've made an easier decision before in terms of captaincy, form, fixture, and comfortability. I'm picking him for this game week. Then I've got Rafinha against Norwich. If he's fit, a great fixture. Hopefully get some big points there and take advantage of a really weak and, a lack of confident team in terms of Norwich. Then Townsend, who'll be playing Wolves away. A really good game on the cards. 2 really good teams who I think have had disappointing results recently, especially Everton against Watford. So it may be time for him to come back and, capture some form again. Up front, I've made 1 change this game week. So even though despite playing Chelsea at the Newcastle ground, or at home for Newcastle, Callum Wilson comes in for St. Maximin. Now, a lot of people will raise their eyebrows. Why? Now, I know it's just the 1 game week, but this plan, I want to have St. Maximin. I have him in my squad anyway, but I want to have Callum Wilson in my squad from game week 11. So why would I keep St. Maximin? Is even though Callum Wilson is a more goal threat, along with penalties as well. So he's got Chelsea this home week, so hopefully he can get a penalty or a goal. That would be good for me. Then Brighton, Brentford, Arsenal, Norwich, Burnley. That's the kind of fixture area I really want to take advantage of. So that's why I've brought him in. The Chelsea game might not be that fruitful, but overall for the long term, that is my plan. Hopefully he stays fit and is available to play for Newcastle. Vardy against Arsenal, his record speaks for himself. If he's fit, absolutely amazing record. I expect him to really test the Arsenal defence and hopefully bring me some good returns this weekend. And then we've got Antonio finally against Aston Villa away. Defensively, they have been quite weak recently. They had that good result against Manchester United, but have been tested after that as well. So Antonio maybe scored a goal against Spurs this weekend, might be coming back into a bit of form, is well rested during European games as well. So I think there should be a good performance from them overall from there. I'm pretty much satisfied with my squad. Injury permitting, that should be my 11 that goes out on the team. And I should have 11 players to be on the outfield during this game week. So that's the plan for this game week. That is the squads, what they look like. Again, we've gone through the fixtures. So these are the players for you to look into or target from these squads. And these are the kind of teams that, you can look at specific players. But if possible, target the right players. Even though the fixtures seem difficult on paper or the predictor, there may be some games where you can really target in terms of going big and going well. So that's the overall tips from me, guys. And these are my squad for game week 10. Let me know what your thoughts are. If there are any questions in terms of players that I haven't discussed, let me know in the comments section. Join the FPL INKLING League. The code is underneath my screen camera. And in addition, if you guys haven't liked the video yet, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, join the FPL INKLING family. Let's grow this channel and let's have a great season. I hope you guys have a good day, keep safe and stay tuned for some more content.